starring the one and only Nomad.
Ha! Welcome to the first episode of Nomad at Night. Boy, Cornelia Squalls, if you as happy about this upcoming season as I am about this show, it took us a while to put together, but well worth the wait. Thanks to my man Chris Washington for all his due diligence and patience. Thanks to everybody, my other producer, Nick Welsh. Thanks to all the people that just joined the Nomad Live team and the Nomad Network. Thanks to everybody, and especially thanks to you guys in the chat. Love you guys, man, and you're the reason why we do it all. We put this network together to create content to feed you guys. Just know that every time you see a Nomad Network production, whether it's a short, whether it's one of these podcasts, just know we're trying to feed you and supply you with the content that you're looking for. So we can never thank you guys enough for this, for the support. And every time I go into the comment section to respond to people, it's just nothing but glowing and rave reviews. And I can speak for, I think, for the whole Nomad Network team that we appreciate you guys for all that love and support and keep it coming. I think we're talking right now. We're in the process of working some things out about trying to get some merch together. And so what that's going to look like, we are starting to have those conversations about it. And so be on the lookout for that. We're going to get that stuff together pretty soon here. I was going to wait, but I'm too excited and a little too impatient. So we're going to get that stuff together. And so what we have tonight, the Nomad at Night is basically, we had to have a forum for us to be us. Nomad Live is a clean version of what this is tonight. It's still going to be driven by the Bears conversation. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about a lot of different things, but we won't steer too clear of the Bears conversation you guys showed up to hear. And so without further ado, let me bring in my main man, Chris Washington. Man, hey, you know I love you, big bro.
What's going on, man? You all right?
I love you for everything you're doing, man, and everything you supplied to the Nomad Network, and just being a part of this team, man. Thank you. People ought to know you're the guy behind all the beautiful stuff happening with the aesthetics.
I love you back, man. It's all love. Having fun, man. Love the Bears.
Yes, sir. You want to get out?
Yeah, I'm gone.
Well, the producer, Nick.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Nomad, how you doing? Chat, how we doing? You all ready for this?
Nick's background just makes me want to drink, man. I just feel like I'm at a bar watching his setup back there. I love it.
Yeah, that's where we at right here, the Nomad Bar. It's Nomad Live, baby. Nomad at Night, I mean. Whoop.
Nomad at Night, that's right. I hope you guys like the background and the layout and the intro, man, because we worked really hard. Well, Chris worked really hard to put that together. Nick is also producing stuff for it. So I just hope you guys appreciate that, man. So let me get you out of the screen, unless you want to stay in the screen, Nick.
I don't mind staying.
Okay, hang out.
Absolutely.
Here's our co-host, one of our co-hosts, Sam Rush. Samo, how you doing tonight, baby?
What's up, big dog? Ready to talk some Bears. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see the faithful in there. I see Dylan. I see who else I see? I see Leo. I see Bears Truth. I see Cornelius. I see J2K, my guy. Ooh, I see all the big dogs in the room.
Oh yeah.
We about to talk some good talk tonight. Hey, there go my guy Torian.
All right, let's get it, baby.
Hey,
let's get it, baby. I'm ready. Hey, shout out to Chris and Nick too, man. I just want to say C Sharp and Nick, man. This is beautiful. I love the production, man. I don't know, man. You may need to drop us out and just show that beautiful background, man, with the skyline.
You're probably right. Let's let them look at it.
It's only right, man. You gotta let them see it.
All right, let's do that right now. Let's let everybody look at it.
If that don't get you fired up, I don't know what will, baby. Let's talk some ball.
Yeah, let's go. So, what we starting with, guys?
We got a couple more folks. There go my guy.
My guy, my main man, 50 grand.
The man, the myth, the legend.
What up, Trip?
Hello, is this motherfucker on? Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My ninjas.
How we doing?
It's good to be here. Let my hair down a little bit. Don't be such the upper, tight, suit, tie wearing guy that we are normally. It's Sunday night. It's Nomad Live. We can, chill. You can have a beverage if you so partake. You can have a smoke if you so partake. Whatever you so partake, as long as you're down with Nomad Live, you're enjoying the Bears content and you're just chilling out with your boys. That's what's up.
Well, let's bring on our special guest from Bears Country Podcast, my man PJ. What's happening, P?
What's happening, fellas? Good evening,
sir.
everyone. It's good to see you guys once again. It's always a pleasure to be with y'all.
My guy.
My guy, Samo,
What's
Nick,
going on,
Nomad,
PJ?
Triple R. Good to see you guys, man. For real. Glad you guys have me on, man.
Man, hey, it's nothing but love, man. It's always love across the Bears podcast community, man. I want people to know that we're always going to be about trying to lift each other up every chance we get. And so
Absolutely.
It's not a competition to me. It's not a rat race to me. And I'm not a singular person when it comes to the Nomad Network. It's a team. And
I truly appreciate that, Nomad. Thank you much, man, for inviting me on from BCP. We're both trying to build something there, so I truly appreciate it, man. Thank you guys much.
Not a problemo. We love having you here, man.
Mm-hmm.
In a few minutes, and just give us just a few minutes, and we're gonna get to some Bears conversation. I know everybody is really excited about the season. I haven't been this excited about a football season, and probably since Devin Hester was drafted that year. I think I said this when I was on the bar room. I said this a couple of times, but I want to say this one more time for clarity. I'm a real believer in my instincts. My instincts pretty much guide me. It's like if you believe in God, it's like God talking to you directly. It's like telling you right, wrong, stop, go. You know what I mean? Just making sure you don't make fatal mistakes or really bad errors in your life and in your judgment. And so I learned to trust my instincts a lot. And so what I'm doing is prefacing what I'm about to tell you guys. That year, when Devin Hester was drafted here, I had a different feeling. I went down to the camp and I watched the electricity just grow, especially every time Devin Hester touched the ball, because I thought that was one of the pieces missing from that roster was an explosive guy in special teams, and they drafted him. And I'm telling you, man, I can't really describe this feeling, but whatever that feeling was returned after they put Flus in place. Well, actually, when they got Justin, but it didn't really grow until they could put Flus in place and put Poles in place. And every step of the way, I've seen them make moves that really made me feel good. I know last year was a crap year, but I saw that was probably the most enjoyable 3-14 season I've seen in my life. I don't know about you guys, but it really turned me on to see how competitive these guys were and how they were slowly kind of fixing this roster up. And with the capital they had, the cap room and the kinds of guys that the combination of Flus and Poles were looking for, I knew they had a chance to put something real special together. So this draft really got me going. I mean, it got me going to a point of it's hard for me to control myself right now. That's how excited I get about it. And so to be able to come on here and share that with everybody on the show, everybody in the chat, I hope you feel it, because it's a real thing for me, It's just a real excitement. So before we get into this show, let's revisit the depth chart, Mr. Washington, man, because we did not get to finish that on Nomad Live the other night. I thought we got good and into it, but we did not get to finish the depth chart. Do we have that, Mr. Washington? Chris, is Chris there?
C-sharp.
I think he's currently pulling it up as we speak.
Okay.
Gotta
Okay.
trust in the process.
Let's just talk before why he's getting. Okay, here we go.
There it is. See, Chris is always on it.
Damn. I'll let you guys. Let me shut up for a minute. Let you guys sound a little bit. Go for it.
Samo, call it.
Want me to kick it off, dog? Know what I see? I see that we got better in every position on offense right here. Every spot we have depth. We have some dogs that are going to be started, especially at wide receiver. I think it's like night and day from what we started with last year to what we have this year with the addition of DJ Moore, who I know is going to be a dog. I hope everybody else knows that and everyone else agrees. But
okay,
what
so
that man has accomplished is.
Hold on, Sam. Let's just go line by line. Let's go from top to bottom. How you like how that's lining up as far as the depth?
I like how we're lining up at just about every position, at every position to start. I liked how we're lining up at every position as the starters. The only concern that I see here is we don't know for sure who's going to be our center. I'm not too much concerned about that. If I'm going to trust in Poles, I'm going to trust in Flukes and those guys to get that together. And I don't know who our swing tackle is going to be, but I'm expecting, our guys to stay healthy anyway. Our tackles to stay healthy. So I think we got that young bull, that rookie, that big dog, and our right tackle. So, and Darrell Wright, I think he's going to be a dog. I think he's going to make it through the year, healthy and strong, just like Braxton did last year. I think he's going to come back even better, even stronger. And I'm just looking forward to a great season, man. We about to put up some points. We put up that 30. We put up that 30 points a game for what, a 4 or 5 game stretch. I expect to see that extended out 16, 17 games this year, fellas. I don't see a team on defense that can really stop this offense, stop every position, because we got dogs at every position, man. Tight end is going to be, I think, Robert Tonyan, the addition of Robert Tonyan, I think a lot of people underestimating that addition, man. Robert Tonyan had double-digit touchdowns a couple years over there in Green Bay, in Cheese Town. So, I can see him being a red zone threat along with our guy, Cole World Commit, who's getting better and better. Guys, and we already know QB1, he's ready right now. He's ready. Let's go. Bears win. Let's get it.
So before you go, Triple R, because we'll go down from Sam, Trip to PJ and then back up to Nick. But before you go there, what I like about this is looking like DJ Moore is going to be the starter on the left side. So left outside wide. EQ is behind him, and that's where EQ lined up starting most of the reps last year, was on the left side mostly. And so these guys, Maurice Fountain and Joe Reed, I think they're mostly going to be fighting for special teams jobs. But I do like that. I'm sorry, Triple R. Go ahead, man.
All right, let me whiz through it real quick. Phrasing. I don't agree with, first of all, with the positions that they have each of these players in. For example, left tackle, right tackle. Leatherwood is not a right tackle. He should be on the left side, so he should be where Borum is behind Jones. Deesh is a right tackle or a right guard. So as far as the positions groupings go, I don't agree with all of that, but individually, DJ Moore, Claypool, Mooney, I'm good with that. EQ, I think he is what he is. He's not horrible. He's a good blocker, and he's big and he's fast, but he's not a threat. Nobody's scared of him in other opposing secondaries. They have to account for him as a guy, but just as a guy. Tyler Scott, excited for. Valus, I'm hoping that his, rookie jitters are all in. He's all up good. Fountain and Reed, don't know. Webster, don't know. But I'm a proponent for seeing Crookshank in a position to return the kicks. And if that's at the detriment of Pettis, so be it. Offensive line, real quick. The depth chart, who knows? Those guys are there. I'm looking forward to seeing Jatiri Carter whether that be at center or battling for left guard. Tev, I love his on the field play, but he's never on the damn field. And that's a liability. Patrick, Mr. Glass, liability. If it's not a toe, it's a thumb. If it's not a thumb, it's a toe. It's his thumb and his toe. You know, who knows what's wrong with that dude. Kramer, he got hurt before he even, came in. So the center position is just a question mark, and that's understood. Lug, he was a beast at Notre Dame, 4-year starter, I think right guard. Maybe some center capabilities there. Davis, professional. Island, we don't know. Mets, we don't know. Darnell, rookie, promising, cool. This the African kid, Roy, he looks intriguing. Because man, if he could, man, yeah. Gabriel Hoy, he's a nasty motherfucker, if I can quote the great Greg Gabriel. He just needs to be able to stay on the field, and he projects to be, I think, like a right tackle interior guy. Cole Kmet, hey, he's progressing, he's learning. I think he's earned that contract in that position. Tunyon, he's good, but he's had a questionable on-field being able to stay on, rather. Tongas and Allen, I'm interested to see, because now that they've had a year on the practice squad under their belts, and we want to see draft picks progress and learn, because we don't expect them to come in and produce. Well, they're not draft picks anymore. Now they're, incumbents, second-year guys. And so I want to see if they actually can make that step to be like, oh, shit, Chase Allen. Oh, yeah, that was that dude from Iowa. Where was he at? Oh, he was on our practice squad, fool. You know what I'm saying? I want that kind of outcoming for Tongas, Allen, or somebody. JF1, he's the dude. PJ, he's the dude. Mr. Peterman. Oh, Lord. I hope Badgett can beat him out. Just please. Former 1-year deal, solid. Khalil Herbert, I don't know that they're in love with him, because he's not a stripper, but because he doesn't have all the tools that they want to have that positional flexibility, that at any down, you could have anybody on the field and they can do anything, like his pass blocking. Maybe, he raises his game as well. Roche Joe, looking forward to him. Travis, he's a special teams beast, and maybe he's a running beast. Don't know. Ebner, come on, kid. You got drafted. I got
an early hot take for you, Trip.
Wait, hold on. I only got one more line.
Go ahead.
Blasingame, he just re-signed. He's a beast and a battering ram at his position. He has flexibility. I'm thinking Getsy can get him involved a little bit more. And Burns, the rookie, he has a very interesting lineage from the University of Miami, but then he went up to Connecticut, and he's a baller. So I'm looking for him to make the practice squad. Go.
I got an early hot take for all you guys, and start firing up your questions. Start firing up your statements about what you think about this depth chart. But let me throw this hot wrench into this fray before you go, PJ. I think right now, I just have the strong inclination that Robert Tonyan is going to be the reason why we don't sign Cole Kmet. Go ahead, P.
All right. While you giving people to contemplate on that last statement, you got everybody going, ooh, all right, okay. I'll say this. I'm not as in depth as Triple R. So with the wide receivers, I will say, from what I'm looking at, I don't know how much Mooney will be playing the slot, because to me, he seemed like he's more of a straight line guy. And I think DJ Moore would actually spend a lot of his time when we in 3 wide receiver sets. I think he'll be the one that's in the slot, because he has that, seem like he has more of that body built for it with that quick shiftiness. When it comes to the linemen, I would say I'm with Trips on this as well. Leatherwood, I think, is going to be probably more on the left side. I think he's more of a left side guy. Borum, I don't know how much the front office love Borum. I think he may be challenged by either Deesh or someone else on the right side at the right tackle spot. Tevin Jenkins, I love Tevin Jenkins. I'm hoping that he can stay healthy all year. I think Nate Davis and Darnell Wright are both dogs. When it comes to the center position, I think we're going to have a battle between actually Whitehair, Patrick, Kramer, and even Iceland. I think that's going to be a four-way battle there. Because if Poles can cut some money by getting rid of Whitehair, saving $10 million after June 1st, he'll take that opportunity if someone else can stepped up. Patrick, I think he disappointed by not being able to stay on the field, but also hear that Jatari Carter is getting reps at center. Not that I expect him to play center. I think they want to use him more like the swing center guard for the second string, because I don't see him being a third stringer at all. He's our second string because he never once went on a practice squad, so he'll be second string. As far as a tight end room, I think the two front runners are good, being Komet as well as Tunyon. However, if one of them goes down with injury, I think we're going to be kind of suspect. We're going to be like looking on the waiver wire to find somebody else or something, because we don't have, I mean, they have good upside, Tungus and Allen, but they're not quite there yet. So I expect them to actually be looking. Our quarterback got a good backup in PJ Walker, comparable to Fields' skill set. However, when it comes to our running back room, I think it's loaded. I think it's going to be a good battle between the top three there, being Foreman, Herbert, and Johnson. I hate the narrative that, when new GMs come in, they want their guys in there. So I question where Herbert going to be at, because he's not a Poles guy that he brought in. So that's always an issue that I just never really understood. I think Homer's pretty much a lock, being the third guy, giving special teams value as well as third down value. Tristan Ebner, because he is a Poles guy, I think. We may want to get rid of him or write him off, but I think if nothing else, he'll stick around on the practice squad. And the fullback's position solid with a blasting game.
PJ, you didn't hear my take the other night, obviously, on Herbert not making the team, man. But he's facing an uphill battle right now.
I don't think they'll cut him. I mean, if anything, they may trade him.
I'm good with that too.
I think they may do that. I'm with you, because I don't know what that narrative is, man, when it comes to GMs and their guys. Seem like they got to have their guy. And so, I can see them trading.
Before I get in here, Nick, what do you have? You got anything?
All right. So, I got a couple things I'll mention. So I'm going to go over the wide receiver room real quick. So, excuse me. Everyone's kind of wondering what we're going to do for the slot position. Here's my take on it. So I think with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and even Chase Claypool, all three of them have potential to play that slot position. I think it's very possible that we'll just get multiple formations where everyone has a chance to play inside in that slot position, while each guy will have their chance attacking the outside. I think it really just depends on the defense we play, and then overall what the game plan is going to be heading into that game. And then I want to mention the running back room real quick. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Herbert's not a running back one, in my opinion. I think he runs fast. That's cool. He can't catch. He can't block for shit. So in the NFL, you got to have all that. Mm-hmm. So having Deonta Foreman there, having Travis Homer there, and then having Roschon Johnson there, it's going to have him step up his game. I think he's definitely a running back you can start the game with, run all over the defense, but he's just not a guy you can keep there for all three downs. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens this year. He can very well, change that and make me look like an idiot. We'll see what happens with that. The offensive line too. The center position is probably going to be Cody Whitehair. That's just my gut feeling, because Lucas Patrick's going to get hurt in preseason. So there's no point even counting him for this first starter at all. I also agree with Triple R. Leatherwood should go to the left side, whether it's guard or tackle. And then, I got really nothing else, actually. You guys kind of hit everything else like on par.
Before I go, just for the record, Fire Marshal Triple R just saved the broadcast.
Yeah.
And then he damn near burned up a deep dish pizza in there. That's what you did. That's what you get for cooking a damn deep dish. On the live show.
No, I just had a little boil over and I didn't have a pan underneath and the smoke detector was being, dutiful and doing its job, but I had to tell it to shut the fuck up because the pizza's cooking, it's all good, ain't nothing burning.
Okay, you gotta take the battery out that thing. I hear it chirping.
It is out.
And it's still chirping?
Oh,
It is out. It's still got that last little.
You want to take us in the kitchen and show us what you're doing?
Oh no, not right now. It's cooking. It's hot. It's 425 degrees going on in there. We ain't going in there right now. But when it's done, yes, sir.
Let us know, man. We're gonna put you on big screen so you can show everybody what you got.
Indeed.
All right. So let me tell you what I think. I'm gonna try to go quickly with this. I'll tell you right off the top. I think I know for a fact that Dante Pettis left a bad taste in a bunch of Bears fans' mouths because of a few drops that he had. That it's Chicago, man. We don't forget shit, man. And people they live with that. They hang on to that, especially when you're having a bad season and you're looking for something to be mad at. Let me tell you something. Dante Pettis is a damn good route runner and a damn good receiver. He has his ups and downs throughout the season, but always keep in context. Just the depth of the receiver room altogether, man, it was never healthy. Not only that, it was a lower tier receiver group altogether. So, I mean, it was easy to spot especially when Mooney went down. When Mooney went down, it's easy to peg Dante Pettis as the most dangerous guy on the field when you're not playing Bayless Jones that much. And so Dante Pettis, man, I think he got a bad rap. I think if there's any chance, if Aaron Cruikshank can't get him in the punt return game, Dante Pettis is going to make the team. He's going to be the punt return. We need that a little bit of veteran in there. But Cruikshank is tough on kick return, but he's not taking that job from Bayless. I can say that right now. Bayless going to return kicks this year. And so Cruikshank has got an uphill battle, but I like what he brings to the table. But I'll tell you guys another thing about another guy. I've been studying him the last couple of nights. Thyrick Pitts, that weird name there.
Mm-hmm.
What you come away with him is he's not fast at all. So just his explosiveness, just scrap that. Forget that. Watch how he runs routes. Watch his catch radius. Watch his strong hands. And what you come away with is a Allen Robinson comparison. It's the third Nate. I need to find the guy that I know I can throw it to. If I got to put it in the air, he'll come down with it. I mean, really strong hands, man. Really strong hands. He gets open, and he's between Joe Reed, Doris Fountain. I mean, he could push for a last receiver spot. So if you haven't done any homework on him, but this is what you got Nomad for. I do all that shit for you.
All right.
Hey, he's not flashy, but I'm telling you, he is damn productive.
Hey, let me signify you for there, Nomad. Pitts will moss a dude.
That's right.
That ball goes up in the air. It's his ball.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter where you at, where he's at. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, Nomad. How many wide receivers do you think we're going to have on the active roster?
7.
7? Okay.
Yes. I know we're going to keep 7. So you want to name them? The ones you think? Let's just go there. Name the ones you think going to make the team.
Well, I actually thought it was only going to be 6, but according to you,
one of them will be on the practice squad.
I'm thinking 6 too. Yeah, one practice squad guy.
Yeah, I'm thinking Moore, Claypool, Mooney, St. Brown, Scott, and Bayless Jones.
And who's you didn't say Pettis, did you?
No.
Oh, he left Pettis.
Yeah, you got a bad taste in your mouth. You just got to admit that.
Huh?
You got a bad taste in your mouth, Pete. You got to admit it.
Well, I think with this contract, I think they only guaranteed him pretty much through training camp, and then they made him a high priority signing. So I think if one of those other rookies or somebody show more promise, they put him on the practice squad as opposed to Pettis. I think they're going to give Velus more opportunity because, again, it's a Poles pick. So he's going to give him a couple of chances, I think.
I think St. Brown is actually going to be the odd man out. I think he doesn't have much to offer other than the fact that he knows the offense. He knows he's helpful at, helping that room, the wide receiver room right now. As far as production on the field, the only thing he can do is block. Everyone else has more to offer as far as pass catchers and route runners or special teams. And I think Pettis, we heard was hurt last year for most of last year. He played. He wasn't on the injury report every week, but he was battling some sort of injury is what I've heard from, I think Gabe Gabriel probably put that out there and said, but Pettis, we know he makes plays. He will make a play for you. And he's a sure-handed catcher at for the punts. Well, as far as everyone else at wide receiver, Velus Jones, we can't really depend on.
Well, I tell you, go ahead, BJ.
I'm sorry. Just to go back with EQ, I think he's one of the bigger bodies, so no one else besides Claypool has that big body. So I think that's going to be his end, the fact that he has that big body to block, and he's offering you something that these other guys really don't offer other than maybe Claypool. So I think that's why he may make the team. And
I'm going to say, what did he do for us last year?
Oh, I don't know. Being the fifth receiver, I think they're not going to expect a lot from him anyway.
Right.
I think there's something to be said about continuity. This is the second season of the you just assume they're going to be running the West Coast offense again, but I get the strong inclination that if you watch the season close enough, and I'm talking to you guys in the chat too, if you watch the season close enough, then you remember the mini-bye. Remember the mini-bye, guys? After that, it was about 4 games, 5 games, 6 games in there. They had a little mini 4 games. Okay,
right before that New England game, right?
If you watch close enough, they were heavy before the mini-bye. They were heavily into the West Coast offense. All the play action, bootleg, rollouts, and all that shit. But when they came back, they ended up in a whole bunch of RPO, right? I've said this a few times, so there's a few people that are familiar with this conversation from me. But what I'm led to believe, based on what happened the rest of the season, is I think they're going to lean more into the RPO, which Justin was more comfortable at doing. Not saying they're not going to do any of the West Coast stuff. There's RPO stuff run out of the West Coast offense. You can join them up. But what I think they're going to do is he's going to be in shotgun more often than not, because that's how he provides more of a threat. That triple threat of I can throw it, I can hand it off, I can run. That's what it's all about. But I think I really do think there's something to be said for EQ. It wouldn't surprise me if they let him go, but there's a continuity thing in every coach's team group meeting, that you need certain people there to keep everything flowing the right way. So, with all that said, EQ could be bringing that to the table, and we not knowing. It's more valuable to keep certain guys than to cut them. Even if their production ain't great. You know what I mean? So you have to consider that.
And also, everybody listening, make sure you subscribe to the Nomad Network as we, kick off our premiere episode of Nomad Live. Thank you all for joining us. And Cornelius is saying that, he wants all that speed dressed every game. But, the thing is, Ryanpoles has brought that athleticism and that speed to every position. And so, overall, that's a physical upgrade than what we've had or ever seen.
As a Bears team ever. You're absolutely right about that. Even our running back, Donta Foreman, Donta, I've heard it pronounced a few different ways by different pronouncers. Anyway, that guy runs a 4.45. He ran a 4.45 at 238 pounds when he was performing at his pro day, leaving Texas. And I'm sure right now he's probably about 220. And so I'm expecting that speed actually picked up. That guy is explosive out of the backfield. He was a 2,000 yard running back coming out of Texas. I think we really struck lightning when we got that guy right there. That was gold right there. I expect him to be our starting running back. That speed element with him and Justin Fields in the backfield is gonna, bring the defenses up. And then Justin's gonna play action. I expect a lot of play action and a lot of RPOs, like Nomad said. I think that's where this offense is gonna thrive. And Justin rolling out, hitting guys deep on those play action passes. I think we have a lot to work with. We have a lot of speed to work with at every position. Even like we keep talking about Robert Tonyan, he has some nice speed. That's the only deficiency I saw in Cole Kmet. And he doesn't have that speed to, run up the seam. He has he's physical. He's a big body, but he just doesn't have that speed.
I will say this really quick, man. Number one, that running back, that's going to be the fight to watch in camp. That's going to be a dog fight. I have no idea how that's going to shake out. I have no idea how Treston Ebner's body is going to be. Did he reshape it? Did he get that explosiveness back? Is he going to be able to read the holes better than he did last year? So that's another guy that everybody is just poo-pooing right now. That you got to understand some things about football, especially when you're a young person entering a new organization. Sometimes that affects young people more than the next one. So what affected Ebner or Bayless Jones might not have affected the next guy, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's easy for us to just say, run him out of town. I want to see what he brings to this camp, because he's probably going to be a completely different player and Bayless than he was last year. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be something to watch out for the whole camp. But there's a couple of guys that I have to mention. I'd be silly not to, that I'm really, really intrigued by, and I can't wait to see what they do with them at camp. And that is Kellen Diesch and Tyree Carter. I've been studying them. There's a lot to like about both of these guys. Happy like a motherfucker to hear that Tyree Carter is getting snapped at center, and he's willing to go there. I want to see how that progresses in camp. I really like the tools in Kellen Diesch. Kellen Diesch, for a guy 6'7", 6'8", 300 plus pounds, has some really good fast feet. And you can see everything they like about them if you study them hard enough on tape. And so that depth that they can provide, whichever position they put those guys in, we are not poor in the offensive line room as we think we are. We are not that poor. I mean, Larry Borum could very well stick around here as a swing tackle. Unless one of these guys beat him out, it's a chance, man. I mean, there's also June 1st cuts that are coming, and that's going to dictate who stays or who goes to. I'm not mad at the center position. I like the idea that they have. It's a upgrade for either one of those three between Patrick, Whitehair, or if Tyree Carter starts getting snaps. It's an upgrade over Sam Mustard. And so that's how I feel about the whole thing. But if let's answer one question before we get out of the offense. Give me one guy on here that could be a rookie starter you think day one, besides Darnell Wright.
Roshan.
That's one. Sam.
Rookie starting day one.
You guys in the chat too.
We all know Darnell Wright is going to be starting. The only guy that really could compete for a starting job right now is Roshan. I don't think that he's going to win that starting job though. Not day one.
Yeah, no.
Don't sleep on Tyler Scott.
That's your pick.
Tyler Scott would be interesting.
I'm saw the article that Mooney said he would be back 100% for camp, but just in case, I could see a situation where there are three wide would be DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Tyler Scott if Mooney couldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
Need a big target, man. No, we got that in Chase, but Yeah, I don't know, man. I go ahead, PJ. You ain't get your say on that.
Well, I mean, I think all you guys said it. I mean, of course, Darnell Wright starting, and then the obvious next choice would be Roshan Johnson, but I'm with Trips as well. Tyler Scott would be the third option if Mooney's not right.
And then also J2K in the chat here where you can join us. He's saying Scott is automatic, well, not automatically, but he's a rookie. And if he's the punt returner and gunner, that is a starting position.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Yeah. I mean, special teams are special teams. You
Yeah.
start how you start. Yeah. So in that sense, yeah, you can't argue with that. I'm talking about making it to one of the 22. So let me rephrase. Get to the 22, one of the 11 on the starting team. But I be honest with you. You want something? You want to say something, Nick?
Go ahead.
No, let Samuel go.
No, I did say this. I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Roshan Johnson also started at fullback in the games, because that's another position that he does play. He's played fullback for Texas last year a lot, and he can catch the ball out in the backfield. You can split him out wide. You can see how teams are gonna, what defense they're gonna put out there, and then just weaponize that guy.
A two-back set with him and Herbert would be pretty deadly. Yeah.
Yes. So I could see that happening.
Y'all want to hear my hot take?
Give it to us.
There, other than Darnell Wright, there's not one single person on this list besides, in my opinion, Alex Leatherwood, unless he beat Braxton Jones out of the left tackle spot. Or if he that's the only person on here I see possibly that could be a starter day one. But we were talking about rookies, so my bad. I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I was like, where'd that come from?
My bad. You just got us.
I fucked myself up. All right,
I told you not to do it.
You supposed to come in with that James Brown shit or something, man. What you talking about, man?
He comes in with the voice of the deity.
Voice of reason.
I told you.
All right, let's move on to the defense.
That's a good thing, though, right? No, man. That's really a good thing, man, to say we had such a good draft and we brought in so much talent on offense, and we don't even have to start any of those rookies on offense right now, man.
That is a good thing.
That's a really good thing for us. They get a chance to develop, learn, and just come in and ball, in spot positions. So I'm looking forward to that.
That is a good thing, man. You ain't lying about that. It's gonna be a lot going on, man, and people gonna run to Twitter and they're gonna be running to podcasts after these guys go do the mini camp in shorts, and they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, this is going on, that's going on," and that ain't damn football. The hell is wrong with you people?
No.
It's just people. They just working out, practicing the damn plays that they've been learning out the playbook. They just testing them out. That's all it is. You don't learn nothing from shorts and mini camps. Just so y'all know. All right. Let's start with PJ because he's been the most quiet. Let's get your take, man. I want to hear what you think about this setup right here, and if it's things that concern you here or things you think ought to be moved around. What you think?
All right, I'm gonna try to take my time if you guys don't mind.
Take all the time you need.
With DeMarcus Walker. DeMarcus Walker, I think he played defensive end coming from Tennessee in a 3-4. He always had somebody on his outside rushing. So he basically, in my opinion, was playing kind of like a 3-tech where he was most effective. So to have him as a straight defensive end in a 4-3 is going to be challenging for him, I believe. I think Rasheem Davis, I really don't have a comment on him. As far as your nose tackle, it's going to be intriguing. I think Phillips is a straight dog. I mean, he's just a man. He's a man child for real. Between Dexter and Pickens, eventually I think that's going to be a great tandem, but they're going to need some seasoning. Justin Jones is kind of like blah to me. I think his production really suffered after Robert Quinn took off. Travis Gibson as well as Robinson. I think Travis will do better with an inside pass rush so that'll help him on the outside. Robinson, I'm curious to see what happens with him. I'm really curious because he had the opening good game, and then Robert Quinn left, and he left with him or something. I think we got a great linebacking core, with the top four being Edwards, Edmonds, Sanborn, and Sewell. I think Sewell's going to challenge Sanborn for that starting Sam linebacker spot. I'm to revisit the D line real quick. I wouldn't be surprised if we still bring in two veterans, or at least one veteran for sure. When it comes to the safety spots, I'm very good with where we at. I think those top four, depending on the health of Eddie. Eddie being coming off a foot or ankle, I think that's going to be concerning. See where he's at. Williamson, I think he can surprise because he got some upside to him. I know I was talking to Shay on the show the other night, and she was like really high on this Williamson kid from Stanford. I don't know much about him, but seemed like he does have some upside. But I'm thinking we may end up carrying a fifth safety. I don't know who that guy might be. As far as our cornerbacks, I think that's going to be very intriguing there. I think we got a real cornerback room. I think Terrell Smith may surprise, and he may even challenge for a starting spot. I know they say they got Kyler penciled as the nickel back, but when I was listening to Tyreek Stevenson speak, he said, during the OTAs or rookie mini camp, he was guarding a lot of Tyler Scott. And I think we had Tyler Scott playing in our slot. So if he's guarding Tyler Scott, that means he may be getting some reps at nickelback and moving Kyler back out to the outside. So I think that'd be real good. I mean, it was already a strength of our team last year, our cornerbacks, and I think it may that and the linebacking core may be the strength of this team as well.
Go ahead. Hey, Triple R, go ahead, bro.
All right. Looking forward to seeing what Walker has. I think he has flexibility inside, outside, depending on down and distance. Looking forward to Green. He's an up-and-coming guy from Houston. Hey, all the rookies, I'm obviously interested in because I think that Poles and his staff have done a good job at identifying those athletic beasts. Billings, he's established Pickens and Bell. The criticism about Bell is he played lesser competition, but, the physical abilities are the physical abilities. And that's going to translate, I do believe. I'm not very familiar with Jeter, so, what you got, kid? Justin Jones, he's a, guy that is the cream of our last year's crop, but our last year's crop was some bullshit. And it wasn't very sweet cream. So, yeah, you was good in a puddle of shit, but we want to get out of the puddle of shit, which makes you now not as good. You get the reference?
Absolutely, dude.
Okay. So
it's a puddle of shit.
you was the nut in that pile of shit, that stood out like, hey, I'm still a nut or a piece of corn, but still.
You're in shit.
Now. Exactly. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to the young guys beating them out. I don't know much about Brown or Jalen Holmes. Gibson, what are we doing? I mean, he was kind of good and showed a flash once. And then it's this excuse. Then it's this excuse. Now it's a contract year. He's about to be 26 years old, looking to get paid on a young, developing team. No, thank you. Come again, but don't. Dom Rob, looking for him to step it up. He verbalized that, he didn't know what to do at certain times, but he's asking for coaching. That's just maturity, asking for help and being better at your craft. So I'm looking forward to progression there. I'm really interested in DeAnthony D.A. Jones. This is a young, athletic intelligently kid, and I don't mean ABCs 1, 2, 3s intelligent, which I'm sure is there. Whatever the fuck, don't really care. Not my business. But I'm talking about the football intelligence and the athletic intelligence and the ability to know that I want to achieve a goal and this is how I should be doing to get there. And he gave examples that he saw in campus, like, oh, first round pick, this is what he's doing. Okay, I got to step up my game. I like that. TJ Edwards, the whole linebacking core. My God, thank you. Oh, man, Roquan, oh Lord, Roquan is leaving. What the fuck are we gonna do? Pay that man $100 million. Whatever will we do? Man, he's gone and been replaced, upgraded, if you will, 2 times for a little bit cheaper. Weatherford, I was looking forward to his possibilities, but he seems to have an injury thing too, where it's like he's right about on there, that precipice of getting on the field, then he has it hurt. And then he's up, and then he's hurt. So, yeah, not really sure there. Terrell Lewis, I'm thinking, is more a left-right defensive end kind of rush guy because he's, 6'5", 265, so he's like DN size, even though he's listed as a linebacker. I'm looking forward to Baskerville. You know how, well, when I turn on a college football game, I'm just turning on a game. I don't give a shit who's playing. But you're just watching the game. It's like, damn, that motherfucker's bad. Damn, that dude again. Damn, this dude is. Baskerville was LSU's that dude on that defense. And I'm looking forward to see how that translates. Jackhammer, that's the man. Cole, I'm not sure with. Dang, not familiar with. Jalen Johnson, similar to Gibson. Nice athlete, but when we was shit and he was that piece of corn, now that piece of corn wants to get paid, but it don't get interceptions. It can't stay on the field. It don't like to tackle. Good luck with that. But Terrell Smith, cool battle. Stroman, whatever. Jalen Jones looked good. Brisker, he's good, but he was in and out of the game. He wasn't, consistently on the field. So just watching out. And I could see Williamson as being a backup to that because he was also Stanford's that guy. So he's a good backup in the wings. Thomas, Oh, and Macon Clark. He's another ball magnet dude. Look for him to get a lot of interceptions and breakups. Ejac, thank you for your service, Mr. Bo. Your plantar fascia foot injury, 31 years old, as much as money as you make. We want to get young and athletic. Thanks for your guidance, but good luck with that. Hicks, who knows? Just let him battle out and figure out who's who. Looking forward to Stevenson. That dude looks like he got some attitude because he was always, when they was down there with the U, and they would get interceptions with the chain, it was always Stevenson. It was like, Stevenson, nice. And it's like, oh, shit, that's the dude we drafted. Nice. Vildor, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Looking forward to it. Gordon, looking forward to it. And Blackwell, I read someplace that he had a knee injury thing that he was dealing with that was what was prohibiting him during the season when he was like on IR. So with the upgrade and the influx of as many cornerbacks as ryanpoles brought in this offseason, I could see a really big turnover at that in that room. And I'm really looking forward to my man Nugget Warren because just of his story and his abilities and the way he's come up. And it's like, yeah, all right, let's see what you got, kid. So, yes, young, athletic. Let's go. Let's go.
Sam, did you go yet?
No, sir.
Go ahead, man.
I'm going to make it quick, though, because everybody said just about everything about these guys. However, this left defensive end, DeMarcus Walker and Rasheem Green, I did go back and look at some film on both of those guys and saw that their sack production all came from the inside at tackle when they were moved inside on passing downs. So that is a little bit concerning to me, that we're now dependent on them to be these edge guys and have some sort of production specifically when it comes to sacks. Hopefully one of them has that Akeem Hicks type year, though, where a guy, was just turning his career around and we pick him up and, he takes off from there. I think that they definitely both have the work ethic and, the right body types to succeed for us. Defensive tackle at the nose guard and defensive tackle 3 tech, man. I think we are stacked. We have a nice 5-man rotation going right here. I think Andrew Billings and the pickup of Andrew Billings it just hasn't gotten enough pats on the back as it should. I think that is specifically to help us in the run game. Last year we were getting gashed, and I'm gonna tell you, like my coach used to tell me, you have to stop the runs and earn the right to rush the passer. We weren't stopping the run, guys, so we never knew what teams were doing. If we were going to be teams, could go either way, run or pass on us. We have to stop the run first. I think Billings goes a long way in helping that. And Javon Dexter, who, as J2K said in the chat, could push for that starting role at nose tackle before he moves over to 3 tech. I think he's ready. He's a big body, strong kid, can push the pocket very well. I think him learning from Billings is going to be good for us. Pickens, another dog. I think his get off is going to really, give him an opportunity to win that starting job from Justin Jones. I know that Alvin Williams is going on the record saying that Justin Jones is going to be the starting 3 tech, but hey, you don't know who's going to be the starting 3 tech. You don't say that until we get in camp. Every job, every position is wide open. If this kid Pickens outplays Justin Jones early on in the preseason, then he will be our starting 3 tech come day one against those Packers. Travis Gibson, like they said, it's a put up or shut up year for this guy, man. I was like, he had 7 sacks 2 years ago. Last year, extremely underwhelming, man. But I know that he puts in the work, man. I follow these players off season on their Twitter accounts and and on their Instagram to see who's putting in the work. This is a guy that puts in the work, man. The production hasn't been there. I'm hoping things turn around for him this year and we can see him doing better. Don Robb, this is just his 3rd year playing. No, this will be his 4th year playing defensive end. He's a converted wide receiver. Like he said, a lot of things were new to him. I expect, that natural talent and that natural bend that he has to, propel him to a very good season this year. D'Anthony Jones, guy that, like Tripp said, the guy has some football acumen. He has that fight in him. We'll see what happens during training camp. Linebacker room just stacked, man. Stacked. The starting linebackers, Edwards, Edmonds, and I'm going to say Sewell, Sanborn, because I think those 2 guys are going to battle for that Sam linebacker position. And then we have good depth in Dylan Cole. Weatherford is also another good linebacker who, was battling some injuries last year, who I expect to compete. And what having good linebackers does is it helps out your special teams and coverage. So I think our special teams are in good hands. We got a lot of speed, a lot of guys that'll come up and hit you. Let's see, corner. We got Jalen Johnson. Hey, this might be our last year seeing Jalen, guys. I'm going to say that. I'm going to record and say that this may be our last year with Jalen Johnson as our starting corner. The interception production just hasn't been there, man. And I think that for what he's doing, just covering guys, we can get someone else in there to do that. I would rather see what Terrell Smith could do. I think he's a feisty guy. He will come up and hit you. Jalen is not afraid of contact. However, his body doesn't hold up well when he's out there being physical. Terrell Smith is one of those guys that enjoys and embraces contact, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think our corners are going to be physical this year. Tyreek Stevenson is also one of those guys that enjoys and embraces that physical aspect of the game. think we have good depth at corner. With Jalen Jones played very well last year. So did Blackwell, Josh Blackwell, and those guys played well without a pass rush. I expect them to, add some good depth. Vildor's facing the uphill battle, trying to make the team. Let's go to safety real quick. Kwani B he's going to be a beast for us this year. He played extremely well last year. He was a nice surprise for us. No one knew much about him going into the draft last year. Ryanpoles did a great job of evaluating him and and his fit in this system. And I expect him to have a really good season, a Pro Bowl caliber season. Eddie Jackson, Bojack, might be his last year here, guys. Remember, you heard it here. I think Bojack, he's out of there. Like the numbers don't add up. Like he's getting older. If we can get something for Bojack on his way out and give him an opportunity to go to a team that has a chance at a championship, that'd be good for him too. So don't be sad if we see Bojack have to leave. I'm expecting Elijah Hicks to have a better season. He started the season last year on the IR. Wasn't able to get out there on the field, but that guy has a lot of fight in him. I'm expecting to see what he can really do on the field. Williamson as well. That's a guy it's a Stanford guy. So you know what that means. He's a smart guy. And so I expect his football acumen to be there and him to be a quick study, from the looks of his tape. He's a guy who's always in the right position. So I expect more of that from him. At nickelback, Kyler Gordon, of course. Yeah, I think he's going to have a good solid year this year. He started out rough last year for him. They had him learning a lot, but I'm expecting a lot from him as well. I think our defense is tight. I think defensive end is a concern of mine, and I do have a trade option for us. I'm gonna save it for later.
Okay, let me jump in here real quick.
Wait, before you jump in, Nomad, I gotta say that was a nice breakdown, Samo, but that was fucked up. You had to take a shot at PJ like that for being a homer.
What's that?
You know what I'm saying?
PJ, somebody give PJ some tissue. He's like, no, not Eddie. No, not Jalen Johnson. He's like, you guys are crazy.
But hold on. Let me say real quick. I thought you said you wasn't going to be quick, Samo.
It was quick. I thought it was quick, man. I got the talking and it was there. I was like, hold on.
There's so much to like on this.
He started cooking.
There's so much to like on this motherfucker, man. And I got to be really quick with this, man, because we got to keep this shit moving. But there's a few things I want to point out. As much as I love the offense and the weapons that they provided Justin with and the potential they got, I think we're going to throw it more than we're going to, I ain't going to say throw it more than we're going to run it, but it's going to be a much more even of a balance of an attack. And I think they're going to throw it more than they did, a lot more than they did last year. Let me just say that. And as much as I like that, 3 points I want to point out to you guys. And after studying these guys on tape, there are 3 guys here that we brought in, 3 rookies that we brought in that are accustomed to a 3-4 front, an odd front. And I said this on a couple shows. I think they're going to experiment with some odd fronts. We won't look quite the same all the time. Michael Baskerville makes me believe that, because that's what a lot of LSU defenses, they do all kinds of different fronts on defense, but they mostly look like a 3-4. Also, DeAnthony Jones, another guy that's always standing up and rushing. Another guy is Noah Sewell. He is the most exciting. I ain't gonna say the most exciting guy, but I know they've got a plan for this dude, and he's gonna help them experiment with some 3-4 fronts and some 5 fronts and do some different things to really throw defenses off. I just want to start off with that. Just take note of that. Those 3 players that we just brought in are gonna help them probably experiment in minicamp to see what they can pull off, see what these guys can retain. But just take note of that. Everybody in the chat, just remember I told you guys that.
Hey, Nomad,
What's happening?
we get a question from the chat. Bear Truth 9. He made a statement as opposed to a question that we need vets, and to be the argument to that, I understand that veteran leadership is important. That you can look at a guy and it's like, oh, what to know in this situation. But my pushback to that is for a young developing team, can you rely on the athletic ability and the job of your coaches to coach up guys until you need to bring in that, that wily veteran to get you over the hump? And as a, player, what is your view on vets and position groups for young rebuilding teams?
I'll be glad to answer that question. And one, just because that's the next segment we get into, we're going to answer some questions. I would be glad to answer that. But really quickly about this defensive depth chart, there is so much to like right here. There is so much to like. I'm not going to carry on because we do have to keep this show moving. But there is so much to like here. And I think there's going to be a lot of surprises as far as who plays where, who starts and who doesn't. I'll tell you a name to look for and look for often in this camp. It's going to be Michael Ojemudia, Josh Blackwell. Let me see. Kendall Williamson for sure, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Terrell Smith for certain. Jalen Jones and Greg Stroman. Coney Ding. I'm interested. See, he's another guy that would make you think that they're gonna try some 3-4 stuff because he would be a 3-4 type of a linebacker. Other than, if you know his size, he's like 6'4", 6'6", probably 250. You know what I mean? It looks like an edge rusher, but they got him lined up as a linebacker. So it makes you think, how do they plan to use this guy? And so there's that. Noah Sewell, I said what I had to say. Michael Baskerville is going to be a name to look at. Your guy, Trip Sterling Weatherford, I just want to see if he put on some weight and is able to maintain the speed that he had. I want to see him. Definitely want to see Dominique Robinson turn the corner. I don't know what's going to happen with Travis Gibson. If they kept him, I wouldn't be mad. Maybe that inside pressure will help him develop as a pass rusher. I would love to see that happen. Justin Jones not going nowhere. He's going to be part of the depth, but I do think Javon Dexter is going to end up being the day one starter and I shouldn't have said that because that was the next question. But I do think he's going to be a starter at 3 tech, and Pickens is going to be the nose because that's what you would want to do. He would have Pickens is the quicker guy, and he would have the advantage over the center, right? You want the center to be in flux because the center is the start, stop, and go of your offense. If you got your quicker defensive tackle on top of your center, causing him ruckus, it just helps the 3 tech get home, right? And so that's my opinion on that. But DeMarcus Walker is going to be all over the place, man. He is going to be all over the fucking place, and we're going to like it.
Hey, Nomad, got a question. You guys seem to think that this is Bojack's last year. Do you guys think if he has a good year, he would be willing
I didn't say
to
that.
stay?
I didn't say that.
Well, I didn't say. I said most of the guys seem to think, and in the chat too. But do you guys think that he'd be willing to take a pay cut and stay?
I don't see why not.
I don't think he's going to get a raise anywhere else.
I would.
Well, the thing is, just to read real quick, if I'm Ryan Poles, even if he wants to take a pay cut, I don't know if I want it back.
Well, I prefaced the question that he's having a good year. He had a good year last year until he got hurt. He definitely rebounded from 2 years ago. So he's only 31, I believe. So
I just wanted to finish my little spotlights, man. My little couple of guys. I just had 2 left. But guys to watch out for.
Thought you was done, bro. My bad.
Just really quick, man. I ain't gonna take all that much time, man. Let me get this off. Jalen Holmes is really intriguing on tape. I don't know if they're gonna play him at tackle. Remember, guys, in the chat, remember, this is our lads depth chart. This is nothing official. They have nothing on the Chicago Bears official chart, so we don't know. but he's a very intriguing guy on tape, and Donovan Jeter is more intriguing on tape. And you see where they got him lined up at as a nose tackle. So very intriguing guys. But let's get to some chat questions, unless you guys have something else about this.
Well, go ahead and kick it off with the PJ.
Nick didn't go.
Oh, Nick.
I got nothing else, honestly. It looks good on paper. We'll see what happens.
Sounds like you're intrigued by the whole roster, Nomad.
I am very much so, brother. I am. I'm not like your average Bears fan.
You're not the average Bears.
I see hope in every last one of these motherfuckers.
Did anybody mention Greg Stroman?
Goddamn right I did. Hey, and when he got in, did he ball? Did he ball?
Man, did he get in last year?
Yeah, he fucking got in.
Dang, I missed that. What about Cecil Turner?
Stroman, yeah, he played well last year.
Yeah, he played.
Did Cecil Turner get in?
Cecil.
Don't he?
Yeah, get the fuck out, Chris.
DJ, you know who Cecil Turner is, don't you?
Cecil Turner. That
You
sounds like
just schooled us the other day on Cecil Turner.
that sound like something I know down the street.
4 kick returns for a touchdown in 1970. Look it up.
Schooled us the other day on Cecil.
All right, hey, all right. Last question before we get into some chat question. Give me your starters, rookie starters, day one, if you see any. Let's start with Nick because he didn't get a chance to really say that.
Stevenson's probably going to be the starting right side corner. I think that's accurate. And then I definitely think there's a chance that Javon and Zach Pickens can start for the defensive line, just for the simple fact that they don't really got much else up there, you know. But it's very solid for depth. This is going to be a very rotation-heavy defensive line anyway, so it doesn't really matter who's starting.
Sam.
I agree with everything Nick just said. I think the two rookie defensive tackles both have the opportunity to start. I like Javon at nose tackle, and I like Pickens at the 3 tech. I know what you said, Nomad, about, you know, having the quicker guy.
Sam, just look at Indianapolis, man. That's all
I get it. But that's why that nose tackle gets help from that other guard. That's why they double team, and I think Javon Dexter is better to hold up. He's better with the double teams. That's the only reason why I like him better in that spot. I know he's just busting double teams up all day, every day. I like Pickens a lot too, you know, in any one-on-one situation. So, you know, it could work. We'll see how it turns out.
The thing about them is they all have position versatility.
Yep,
all
I like that.
Up and down, man.
That's the best thing about these guys, man. I think at every position. The other guy, you know, Nick didn't bring up that may have an opportunity to start is Noah Sowell.
Yep.
Like, I think he could. He's pushing.
Yeah,
Jack
he's my
Sanborn.
sleeper.
Yeah, he's pushing Zach Sanborn for that job, man. He's
I really
physical.
like him coming out.
That guy, when he diagnoses a play, he takes great angles, man. He's coming down with bad intentions, and he's hitting his target every time. He's squaring up, and he's hitting his target. I think that guy has a good opportunity to push Jack Sanborn, and I know that's going to hurt some folks, Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Not the sand guy. For the sand guy, like, Sanborn is good now, don't get me wrong, but, you know, Noah Sewell might be just a little bit better.
Hey, Sam, I had a whole write-up for these guys, man. I mean, a whole write-up. But just in efforts to keep the thing moving, man, Noah Sewell is better than you. I mean, he's going to be a fan favorite. I'll tell you guys this right now. Go get his fucking jersey now before the price go up.
Yep.
That motherfucker going to be a terror out there. Get
And
that
Nomad,
jersey.
he did this at 260. The dude is 260.
Exactly.
I'm sure they're going to get him down to like 240 maybe, 250, 245.
Lion.
He's going to be a missile.
I'm telling you, man.
He's going to get a little quicker, and he is going to be laying folks out.
All right, Trip. Who's your picks to click? Who your starters, man, for these rookies?
My one, I would see Stevenson not automatically, but starting. So that's a gimme. The non-gimme, I'm going with a safety beating out Bojack. I'm sorry, y'all. It ain't nothing personal against Bojack.
Preach.
But he's a 31 coming off 30, coming off injury to his foot, safety. Yes, he's a turnover machine, but we've had him for so long, and we ain't won shit with him. And he's only getting older, so he's not going to keep getting better.
Hey, wait, hold on.
It's not wine.
Who we talking about?
Bojack.
Oh man, you know what, Trip? We gonna wrestle after this show, man.
Man,
Pro Bowler,
no baby oil. No baby oil, though. Come on,
I'm with you.
that's a Pro Bowler you pissing on right there.
Hey,
but
it's
yeah,
time.
a few years ago.
He was on his way this year before he got hurt.
You got to make a tackle though. He still missed a lot of tackles this year. We don't want to talk about that though, huh?
My bad. I mean,
right,
but you know, you barking out, man. That's a goddamn Pro Bowler, man.
I understand, but at some point we have to come to the realization that guys have maybe 1 or 2 good years left, and from the perspective of the general manager, how do you capitalize on those resources? How do you save that money? How do you flip them for maybe a future asset? So they just don't walk away for nothing. But you just don't keep paying a guy till it says, okay, I'm retired now. Okay, thank you, bye. You got to flip them eventually.
And
not to be an asshole. That's just the business side of it that everybody say they understand.
This is let me just interject here really quick, man. One thing I know about a guy like Bojack now. It's one thing to find a safety that is really good in coverage and really good at tackling. You got guys that can do both, but you can't coach instincts. You cannot coach those. And Eddie Jackson, give me Byard from Tennessee, safety. I'm talking about safeties. Very rare instincts. Very rare. I mean, combined with the physical ability to be able to go make plays. And so that's why, right now, I think Eddie Jackson got a ticket as long as he want one, unless he injuries just whoop his ass and he can't, he becomes a liability. But he's just one of those guys, man. And he's got every year potential to be a Pro Bowler. So I don't think you just blow your nose at that because he's getting a little older, man. I think you keep him as long as you can. But, watch out for some of these other guys coming up too.
Be hard to trade him too with the cap hit and even cutting him. He's got a $9 million cap hit this year and $5 million next year, on top of $14 million salary for next year. So I don't know who's going to trade for him.
I mean, he just so good at the things you can't coach. It's like he's going to do shit on that field when they're going to tell him. And I know what happens in the when you're in the team meetings. It's they in sets, and he's looking at his keys, looking at receiver alignments and splits and all that kind of stuff. And they're going to ask Eddie, hey, what do you think when you see that? He's like, I don't know. It depends on how the slot comes off the ball. I might break on that. And the coaches are not going to tell him no, even though they know the coverage is different. You know what I'm saying? It's like he does things instinctually that, it's hard to find a safety out there that does. And so I think Eddie Jackson is a very rare commodity, and I want to keep him as long as we can, because I know if he goes to some contender, he's going to be the difference in them winning the Super Bowl or not.
Well, but then that's the question: is as long as we can, to what end, to what benefit? We'll get into it in a bit about Poles and how we're competing, but for our realistic Super Bowl window, where will that be in Bojack's career? And is it more valuable to us now to get any sort of resource we can for him, as opposed to just letting him ride with us?
You think you might be of the mind that you don't think they can push for anything this year. I beg to differ.
We're not pushing for a Super Bowl this year.
That's
a fight. I mean, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight now. We're gonna fight.
We don't even know what the final 53 gonna look like, man. But I ain't scared to fucking say it.
That's a stretch.
I'm not scared.
That's a stretch. But it could happen. I mean, nobody thought the Bengals were gonna make it a couple years ago. But the Bojack thing, though, man, it's like I want to trade a guy when he's valuable. If we can get something for a Bojack right now, like his cap hit, Chris underestimated it a little bit, man. His cap hit this year 17 million. His cap hit next year 18 million. He's making 13 million this year. That's a base salary. 14 million next year. He's not that good. He's not 14 or 13 million dollars good. Like, we focusing on what he does well. I agree with you. His instincts are amongst the best, to ever do it at that. However, man, when the guy is in the open field, he will miss a tackle. And he is, for him to be our last line of defense,
Ole!
He's going to whiff on that tackle. He's not. Sometimes he just takes a bad angle. So, he'll whip on that tackle, and I just can't pay $14 million for that.
Sam, if I could, I would show you some comparison from his defense and what he was doing when he was under Matt Nagy and his regime versus when Flus got there.
Vic Fangio.
The difference in him in finishing plays was like night and day. Yes, he still missed a few tackles, but in comparison to that year and the Flus year when he was there, man, that motherfucker was lights out while he was out there healthy. I mean, he was lights out. And I watched every fucking game 3 times. And so I beg to differ, man. I think he's a lot more valuable than people. I mean, it's easy for fans to, all right, he's getting a little older in age, but I just know he brings a lot more to the table. I'll just say that.
And Eddie was making tackles all over the Giants game, man. He was the only one tackling that game.
At times,
I'll be real.
At times, you fucking right, he was. Go ahead, PJ. I know we've been talking too much, man.
Oh, no, you guys did. I mean, I would just add that I think Javon Dexter is a dog. I mean, that dude's strong, just strong. So I expect him to probably crack the starting lineup. My surprise would be Terrell Smith beating out Tyreek Stevenson at the cornerback spot.
Ooh, wow.
Okay.
Upset.
Wow. Can I give y'all a little insight about Terrell Smith? He is just remember this. He's 6'2", 218, 215, somewhere in that range, right? Immediately when we're talking about cornerbacks, and there's another little thing about him. I don't know if anybody noticed, but he's anybody know what I mean when I say slew-footed? When you got your toes kind of point outward.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Kind of got the duck feet, kind of
opposite to pigeon toe.
Bow-legged or something, right?
All right.
That boy's from down south.
Yeah. That's some shit from the south, man. But one thing about it, just my experiences around people and being around a lot of DBs, and especially heavier DBs. I'll just start with this. Guys that are slew-footed, in my experience, usually have balance issues. You don't see that as a problem at fucking all in a guy like him. Another thing is a corner that is over 200 usually are slow at the foot and foot quickness. Don't see any of those traits. He's different. He's absolutely different. Could he be somebody that they may consider maybe moving around in secondary, maybe playing him at some safety? I don't know. They could, because he's got the size and ability to do it. But if they leave him at corner, his ability at the line of scrimmage to be able, he surprises me how quick he is in being able to transition and stay in phase with the receivers. It didn't matter what size receiver it was, whether it was a big guy, whether it was a small guy. He didn't get left behind. He trailed well. And so he stayed in phase with whatever was in front of him. I didn't see him just get really left unless he bit up on a route and just got double moved. But that rarely happened. And so he's a very interesting guy, and I can see why the Bears coveted him. He's different for a guy his size and for those kind of feet, man. I've never seen a guy slew-footed to be that on balance. So don't be surprised what happens with him, man. He could be out there on that field early.
If he is out there, I think he's taking Jalen Johnson's spot, dog. And maybe Jalen's gonna be that trade bait.
Man, Jalen.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Jalen, you can't be mad at Jalen. And there's nothing wrong with Jalen. Jalen, he just doesn't take the ball away.
Right.
And that's if you want to give a knock on Jalen, that would be, I guess, the coaches, and they say, hey, we can get more out of somebody else if he asks for 18 million, 20 million. Let him go. I think we got some quality backup that can develop into everything that we get out of Jalen Johnson. So I'm not shitting on Jalen Johnson. If you're watching this video, bro,
I'm not either.
love to keep your ass here. Love to keep you here. But if you got to go get that bag, go get your fucking money, bro. Go get your money. If they don't want to pay it, go get your fucking money. But we'll be all right if he didn't stay. So I'll just put that out there like that.
Right. I'm not poo-pooing on him either, dog. I'm just saying, I just looking at it from the perspective, we're in the same situation with Roquan last year, where, that lack of production, certain production that's supposed to come from that position, and, and how people value themselves. I think he's a valuable dude. I think he's a good cover guy, but I just don't see Poles anteing up for him this year, because he's not a Poles guy. He wasn't one of his picks, and we just saw the same thing with not only with Roquan, we saw it happen with Monty as well. Yep.
Well, I think that we have yet to see Poles sign a previous guy to a long-term contract over 2 years that he didn't bring in. I mean, out of all the guys we've already had, the ones he's signed the long contracts to is the guy, Walker, and the linebackers. Other than that, the guys who's already here, he's not signing them to long contracts.
Very true.
Hey, Chris,
Very true.
Chris, this is a good screen, man. So people get to see the beautiful work you did, man. This is a great screen you got us on. And to that to that point, man, it's just so many intriguing storylines to be had, especially on defense. I think that's what most people are going to be talking about during the camps. There's going to be a few surprises on offense, be a few guys that stick out, especially in this mini camp. You're going to hear about Pitts. You're going to hear about Cruikshank. You're going to hear about a few guys. You're going to hear about Roshan Johnson. But when they put those pads on, and they got to get it, that's when you're going to hear the defensive stories really stick out in this camp. I can guarantee you the defense will be what the hell's Chris got going on here? Was that Triple R?
That's Triple R shirt. Yeah. That's his shirt, man.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
I felt the transition coming between segments, and I was going to the kitchen, and that was just the shirt I'm wearing.
Put Trip in a big screen, man. We need to see what he got going on.
Yeah, the whole deep dish.
We need the world need to see what he got going on. Let's just take everybody out. There you go.
All right, so here's what we have. We got a nice flour, cornmeal, honey, and olive oil crust, layered with some mozzarella cheese at the bottom, then Italian sausage from over by there, some ground beef, mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, topped with a nice pasta sauce who has its own sauteed garlic and onions, and then topped with a nice Parmesan crust.
All right, go and bust that motherfucker over, Marcus Stewart. Shit, I want to see
how we order that on Uber Eats. We doing Uber Eats over there? Or Grubhub? Which one? How do I order?
Well, here's what we gonna do. We got to let it cool for a little bit, and then at the next segment we'll show the inside between the next segment.
Bust that bread open right now.
Bread, brother.
Nah, you gotta let it cool.
Yeah, you gotta let it cool down a little bit. Next segment.
Let it form.
It looked like if he put a pin in that motherfucker, it'd bust out in his face right now. That shit look good though, man. I can't wait to see what it looked like when he busted open. But let's get to some chat questions, man. I know y'all got.
All right, so go ahead with that veteran. We kind of touched on it with Ejak, but at what point do you flip the veteran, or when does a veteran need to be on the field to guide? And what's the difference between a veteran player as opposed to a coach?
Production and value to your leadership and whatever standards you got going on. Whatever standards you got going on, you need people there to uphold those and make sure. You kept hearing throughout the season, and I'm gonna talk about Eddie Jackson in particular. You kept hearing throughout the season different stories, just Eddie, if people were asked, hey, who do you point to as far as veteran leadership, and who do you look for advice? And you kept hearing Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. He's the kind of guy that he proved, and he knows what he's doing. He knows he has to produce on the field, but he knows what his role is off the field. You know what I mean? And he made sure that he was available and open to all those guys on the team. He had them all over for dinner and meals and shit like that, because he's probably the richest one that got on the team. He's into what, his second, third contract. You know what I mean? So he's got money. So Eddie Jackson is priceless, man. And so I hope that answered the question.
I'm just say, yeah, I agree with you. Veteran leadership out on the field is important, man. I mean, coaches can't get on the field with you. We have veteran leadership in Edmonds right now at the linebacker position, making the calls. And I think, like Nomad said, Eddie has been that guy known to make the calls in the secondary, getting people properly aligned. I think that's important. They say that Eddie is a guy who studies a lot of tape. And that's why he's able to, read and react to a lot of those balls and get a lot of those interceptions. So that's important. If he's moving guys around too, if he sees something, he tells a guy, kick in a little bit, play a different leverage on this right now. And, maybe you're going to get the pick, if he knows what's coming. And the same thing for this linebacker now that we have. I think that's the beauty in having these two good linebackers that we just brought to the team is both of them play middle linebacker, so they're good communicators, and they're going to make sure that guys are properly aligned, and that goes a long way, in dissecting the play quickly and, stopping them,
Yeah, I do think Eddie is. Go ahead, PJ. You got something?
No. Go ahead.
I was going to just say, man, there's one thing that we see out on the field and on the grass and on the sidelines, whatever the camera shows us and whatever little stories that we hear. But there's a whole other universe that happens in Hallis Hall when ain't nobody around, and the value certain guys bring to the table and inside the building. It's just, that's a whole other thing. Not only does Eddie bring the production, he is just, the stuff I keep hearing coming out of there, man, Eddie is worth his weight in gold, man. So I don't see him going nowhere as long as he's healthy enough to do this shit. Let's get to another question.
Well, somebody's about to say something.
Okay, you want to read that, Trip? You can answer.
No, somebody was about to interject.
I don't think so.
No, PJ said he agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I cannot read that.
I'll read it. I got you.
Go ahead.
Question. Based on the money and draft capital that Poles and Eberflus had in their hands, what's their minimum expectation for the 2022 in terms of wins and outcomes? And I think he corrects it to 23 in the chat.
I would say, you got something, PJ? I saw somebody fixing them out.
I did.
Go. Okay. What I would say to that is, before I jump to any absolute conclusions about what they're gonna do and what they're not gonna do, as far as 20. Wait a minute, I misread that. Expectation of 22 in terms of wins. I think he's trying to say.
He meant to say 23.
Right.
Yeah. So he just tried to say, if I'm not mistaken, just what do you think this record is gonna be this year? Based on what we've done.
Man, we gotta get through the camp, man. We gotta get through training camp before we jump to too many conclusions. Yes, I know I just said I'm not scared to say we might be a playoff team and push for a bowl. I'm not scared to say that, because I think based on what we have right now on hand and on deck, even though I think we can get a little bit richer after June 1st and after training camp, so just remember that. Based on what I see on paper, man, there is reason to hope. There is reason to hope. And so I can't really answer that definitely, but I do love what we have, man, and the direction that it's going. And I think once the final product is put on the field, I think they're going to be hell to deal with, man. And I think we can be looking at a team that can be putting up 21 points in a half and have a defense kind of finish out games.
Mhm.
Well, I think the minimum expectations for me would be 8 wins. That's the minimum.
Mhm.
I think we're going to improve vastly, having a last place schedule to go on. I think with the moves they made, the minimum I'm expecting is 8 wins.
Yep, I agree with PJ for sure. I think that if we were setting the over under right here tonight, I think it would be at 8 wins, and I would take the over. Of course, I think that we're going to get 9-10 wins, and
Yeah, I think we're going to get 11. I mean, we talked about it over there, and
Mhm.
we came up 11-6, I believe the record we came up with.
And just right now, like No Man said, though, we don't know what this 53 is going to look like until the end of training camp.
And injuries as well.
Injuries
Yeah.
with
Knock on
injuries,
wood,
and
knock on wood, please.
right. I don't want to hear about that, PJ.
It's a reality.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
bad word around here, motherfucker.
It's a thing, though. It's a thing.
It is a
Hear
thing.
that word.
But the other thing that Triple R talks about a lot is, us having that number one waiver wire spot is going to be important, man. Especially when training camp ends, there's going to be a lot of talent out there, man. That Pole's going to have to make some decisions, and that's why I think some of these veteran guys are going to lose a spot for a younger guy, because that waiver wire only works on guys who have 1 to 3 years in the league. If you're a fourth-year player, once you become a fourth-year player, you're a vet, and you can decide which team you want to go to. So that waiver wire
After your rookie contract, right?
Nope. After only 3 years, you can be still on your rookie contract.
Oh,
for
okay.
3 years. If you're on your 4th year in your rookie contract, you can pretty much decide where you want to go.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's the one thing about that. But hey, we're gonna get some talent. I don't think this team is done yet. I think we still gonna add some talent that's gonna surprise some people, a player or two that probably gonna be starters on this team next year. And man, sky's the limit.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, P.
Oh, I already went, man.
Yeah, I thought you had something to say. I thought you was fixing your mouth, but
I appreciate it. I appreciate
thought Chris was gonna come in.
yeah, it's all good. Let's get to
I'm
keyword.
having too much fun.
Let's get another question up.
I didn't go yet.
Okay, go ahead, Nick. I don't know when you want to speak or not, man. Maybe you need to throw your hand up or something.
Well, I figured we all just answer the questions here. We just go around the round table here.
Okay.
Ooh.
So anyway,
but you didn't want to go last time, so go ahead, man.
well, this is the official question here.
Tell him, Nick.
Hey, chill. Anyway, the minimum expectation for me, honestly, is 6 wins. I'm a little bit more down when it comes to the expectations, only because they won 3 games last year. I know some teams do that worst to first transformation stuff. I think a lot of those teams are kind of flash in the pan teams. This is going to be a team built for sustainable success. So that being said, that's like the minimum expectations is 6 wins. I genuinely expect 8 to 10 wins, but we got to see how, the rest of training camp goes. And if they pick up any more people in the post-June cuts. If they get more talent, then my minimum expectation, honestly, will go up to about 8. But that's if they add more talent.
Nick is probably the most practical motherfucker on here, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Look, man,
I'm learning too, no man.
I usually sip the Kool-Aid. I'm super homer, but I realize that doesn't do much better. So I'm just gonna sit back and let them see what they do.
Yeah, I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all, man.
It's okay to be a super homer, though.
Hey, I'm the homiest of the homie motherfuckers there is in Bears universe, man.
No,
ain't no bigger Bears fan. I'm number one with a bullet. But I do study my shit.
Nah, I see some delusional people out there. You definitely ain't one of them. You're good.
We going 17.
Everybody's delusional this time of year.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also very true. It's drunk season right now for sure.
All right,
we were saying 11-6 last year, so
fellas, I wish we had time to present it the way I wanted to see it, but that's fine too, because I'm going to describe it to you. And so I had this thing called the hot take of the week. The hot take of the week. and it comes from, and I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna directly quote because I'm gonna get something wrong if I do. But it came from Carmen Vitale from Fox Sports. She's a member of. She's a co-host on Adam Rank show, the
Whoa,
Sick
now.
podcast.
I mean,
Shout out to Adam Rank and the Sick podcast. They asked her, "What did you think the Bears would do this season?" Whether or not she said no, the Bears will not compete for the NFC title. North
The
title.
North? Okay.
NFC North title. Versus what I saw Ryan Poles say in a quote. He said he expected the team to compete for the NFC North title. So who do you guys want to listen to? The guy that's in House Hall watching these guys work out and get together and become a team and a network and become brothers? Or you want to listen to a reporter who want to, I ain't going to besmirch Carmen because I like her takes a lot of times, but it's just, I just don't like when I see reporters feel like they have to antagonize the base based on, I sometimes I feel like it's the network they work on and they feel like they have to have hot takes.
Interactions.
Yeah, and then you're trying to build your cachet, and sometimes you do that through negativity. You bring negativity towards you, you build your cachet.
It brings a lot of talk.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that really pisses me off. And so,
well, come
a
on.
lot of people responded to. Y'all go ahead, man. My bad.
Go, PJ. You kick us off, man.
Well, I'll say this. I think as we talked about on BCB the other night, I think we have to realize that Pole's job is to instill confidence in his guys. So he spent the last year, doing something, this offseason doing something. He better tell his guys, oh, we're trying to compete for a championship this year, even if it's not there. He got to say that because as a football player, if you don't tell me that the expectation is for us to win, why am I here? I'm not here just to sit up there and just to be here. I'm trying to win every game. I think Carmen gave what she might say is a realistic approach, but as we talked about here, the talent that Poles has brought in is far greater than the talent we had last year. So I lean more towards Poles and saying that, yeah, Poles is right. I think we can compete for a playoff spot this year, and definitely we can compete for the divisional champion. Division champs, because I don't view Detroit, Green Bay, nor Minnesota as some team that we can't beat. I think we can beat them. So I agree with Poles.
Well,
Just for the record, man, I just want to say, Carmen, if you're watching this show, I'm not trying to poo-poo and piss on you. I'm just disagreeing with what you're saying, and I'm not trying to kind of derail what you're saying. I just believe that this guy is genuinely excited about what he has in that building, and versus what you believe. And so I'll just say that.
You say this. I like Carmen too, man. She's new to the NFC North, man. She came from Tampa Bay. She used to cover Tampa Bay down there. Now she's covering the entire NFC North. So I'm just
came from Minnesota.
No, that's the other young lady from ESPN.
Courtney Cronin.
Okay.
Courtney Cronin. Yeah,
My
Courtney
fault.
Cronin.
Yeah, my fault.
Carmen came from Tampa Bay, and now she's covering the entire NFC North. So I think maybe she likes more of what she's hearing from the other cities. She's covering the entire division. So that's just her take. She covers the entire division. So,
Sam,
just
did you see what King Booker World just said?
What did he say?
She also said that they're going to lose the opening game against Green Bay.
Heck no, not
All right,
tripping.
so retract.
Now, Carmen, you tripping. You tripping, Carmen. Now, see, I'm sitting here saying I like you, Carmen. You gonna talk that trash?
Yeah, I had to put it out there, man.
Heck no,
everybody's really on Detroit's bandwagon. I think. But I think Detroit's just going Detroit.
That's my saying. That's my saying too, Chris. Detroit will find a way to Detroit. Green Bay doesn't know what they have in Jordan Love right now. He's been there. He's been a backup though. And I expect them to rely heavily on that running game until he gets his bearings under him. And the Vikings are selling everything off. I think they're about to get rid of Cooks next. Their starting running back. So they're gonna have a rookie in Addison. I like that wide receiver. But other than that, I don't see what they've done to get better. They're selling the defense off right now.
Did they get rid of Griffin?
Which Griffin?
No.
Defensive end.
No, but he's still there.
He wants to be paid or something, right? Is that the guy that wants to be paid? So he won't. He's probably not.
Danielle Hunter wants to be paid too.
Hunter, yep, Hunter.
That's what I was thinking about. My bad. That's what I was thinking.
Yep, Danielle Hunter. So I don't know how long he's going to be on the team. They're in a sort of a cap situation. That's a team that should have did what we did last year and retooled, and they're trying to get that done now. I think the Bears are in position to compete. I'm with Poles on this. You don't say that unless you talk to your coaching staff and go tell them like, hey, what do y'all see? And everybody's excited. That just speaks to the excitement in the building. Everybody feel that way. He's not going to say that and then, put that pressure on his coaching staff, because they're the ones who have to take that hit if it doesn't happen, So they're having these conversations already in the building. That's what that tells me. When Paul said that, I'm like, they're having these conversations and the coaching staff is saying, hey, we can compete. Yeah, we can win this shit. And that's what I expect them to do.
Real quick, man. J2K just mentioned this, and in all due respect to J2K, I'll respond to this way. He says not to disagree, but that first game is a gamble. Green Bay has a good defense and a running game. He has a good defense and running game, and some teams are often not ready for the start of the season. Lots of wild games. Everything he just said is true. I'll offer this as a rebuttal. They don't have the intangible of Aaron Rodgers this time. And so if you watch that game, yes, the defense was porous up the middle against that run game. So I get the hesitancy to jump on the Bears bandwagon. They were terrible, and those running backs tore us up. But in the end, they corralled that shit, and in the end, it was Aaron Rodgers, like it always is. And without that intangible, I think they're gonna come up short for sure.
Can I say one thing real quick, guys? Regarding that first game, I think it depends on how much our starters play in the preseason. I think if he sits our starters and don't get that chemistry, we might lose that one there. But if he gets them ready in that preseason by giving them some playing time, because when we met Green Bay a few years ago, when Nagy first got here, he didn't play our starters. And that was a game we should have won, but we didn't because our starters, they wasn't used to playing yet. So I think that's going to be the key. If we get our starters to playing in the summer, they'll be ready for that first game.
I think that was one of the biggest differences in last year's team is we weren't a slow starting team in any game. We were all, and I think that speaks to the hits principle. I think that's what it's all of. I think that's why that hits principle is in place so that, you're always playing with that high intensity. Your motor is all from start to finish. I think that was important. I think, PJ, I agree with you. We in the past when we had Nagy as our head coach, we were starting games slow. We probably didn't start the game till mid-second quarter. But every game last year, we competed and we started out hot. And that's what I expect this year. I think other teams have that problem, with the end of training camp, legs are dead and all that. But our team emphasizes, playing with that high intensity from start to finish. And I think that's why it's so important. And I think it helps us to, get out in front of some people early on in those games.
Right. Gentlemen, let me say this. If we allow Green Bay to beat us in the home opener, in the first game that Aaron Rodgers is gone after him telling us he owns us,
I agree.
I dang near feel like the season is lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they should lose that game. They should be so hyped up for that game. They should shut Green Bay out. I'm gonna say that. They should not lose that game. If they lose that game, y'all have to call me and talk me off the roof.
To J2K's point about I think he was talking about getting off to a slow start. there's some reference to that in context, especially when you got a bunch of new pieces. And we're gonna talk about chemistry really fast. Especially when you got new pieces on offense, and most teams will gel in the preseason and in training camp, but sometimes they don't completely gel in training camp and in the preseason, and it takes them a few games to really get that flow going. And my bad, Triple. Hold on, I got you. But he's got a point there. You know, there's a certain something that has to happen, and you can't really see it; you just feel it. And it's a gel, man. And that I hope they don't run into that problem, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I know they're gonna beat Green Bay the first game. Fuck that. So go ahead, Triple R. I see.
First of all, y'all gonna get up off my girl Carmi Villa. It's gonna be bad. Let me put that out there.
You just like
Second of all, just because a statement is made, don't make it that it has to be a true or false. Everyone here just stated for the Chris, therapy's a thing, brother. and just exactly.
Is Santa Claus at your house?
So just because
he came early, baby.
Just because the emotion and the anger should be there from, several decades of the Green Bay Packers serving the Chicago Bears on the gridiron does not mean that this team knows anything what the fuck that is about. So as a fan, I'm with you. It's like, oh, these Packer motherfuckers, let's kick their ass. Whereas like this team is like, hey, I'm playing football now. How we doing? Oh, we the Bears. Okay, let's play Packers. Let's go, y'all. So I get that from a fan standpoint, but realistically, Carmi's right. The defense on Green Bay is much more established, and they can counteract what our still coming together, offense is going to do. Our defense is still very young as opposed to their young quarterback, but they still have a running game. So theoretically, those can counteract each other, and just being the more established team, even though they have a unestablished quarterback, the Packers should have the edge. The Vikings are coming off of a playoff run. They're making changes, but they still got Kirk Cousins. They still got Justin Jefferson. We're upgrading our secondary, but they're still got to have time to learn to come together to be able to gel, as opposed to saying, oh, shit, I thought you was going to go left, and I was, okay, next time and then you look at the Detroit Lions. I mean, they are a very good, talented team. For fuck's sake, they've been picking number one for the last 20 years. I mean, should they not have some goddamn talent on that roster?
Preach.
I got a very
preach.
And so with that said, they have number one draft picks up and down every position group. And so, yes, they should be ahead of where we are, because our last number one pick before Justin Fields was, Mitch, and we've been trading away picks for years. So the talent pool is deeper in Detroit. And that's not a homer thing. It's just like, well, fuck. Look up and down their roster. It's like, they guys, oh, shit, he's nice. And then so, I mean, yeah, they're up and coming team. We don't want to admit it because it's like, fuck Detroit. And, fuck Detroit. But, they got a good team coming up. And it's not a detrimental to our fan base or to yourselves to admit that. What Carmi is saying, realistically, the Vikings are a more established team, should be battling for the division. Detroit is a young team, but they've had a year or two now together ahead of where this Bears team is. So they should be ahead of where the Bears are. The Green Bay Packers, yes, they got a new quarterback, but theoretically, they're still an overall better team than this young, developing Bears team. So from her standpoint, she's not hating. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all get off her ass. She's just calling it like it is. She's not, getting paid by any of these teams to make these calls. She's just giving her opinion, much like we all are. And as far as polls, the polls aspect, Hell fucking right he's supposed to say that bullshit. And it's not bullshit. Let me rephrase that. Hell fucking right he's supposed to say that shit. Because that's the shit we want to hear. When what's your man's name, PJ? Our new president of our president? Kevin Warren. He is the first GM I can remember hearing audibly say, we want to win Super Bowls. That's our goal. That Super Bowls, plural. Not get there and just piss it off. And Poles has consistently said we want to win the North and not give it back. This team better compete because now we got our young dogs and we got to make them hungry.
All right.
Yes, I would hope that we get to the playoffs, but realistically, we still have puppies that are young, hungry dogs. Whereas those more established teams have dogs, that have been trained. So we're getting there, but don't rush the process. And Poles has to instill that mentality. So yes, we want to fight. Flus and all the staff are going to make these dudes fight. All these guys are hungry and will fight, but it just takes that experience and that time to gel. And the teams in our division are just ahead of us right now in those aspects.
To his point,
disagree.
Hold on.
My point was just with Green Bay.
I got to take executive privilege. Hold on, because he made some really good points. And I got a really profound answer to that, man, response to it, because he made some really good points. And that is, fuck all that. We whooping all their ass.
Tell him again. Poo-poo.
All their ass.
It sounded good. It was very profound. It was a very profound answer.
Fuck all that. But go ahead, Chris. My bad.
Well, I was just going to say, the initial point was week 1. And Green Bay did not just they don't just have a new quarterback. They just lost the first ballot Hall of Famer, probably top 5 of all time. That's going to have an immense effect on their team. And I can't say that after every offseason that we've had, I don't know that they're man for man more talented than we are. So I think the NFC North is very even, and I think we probably have the best quarterback in the division. So
not agreed.
So I mean, and that in itself makes it the Wild West for me.
I think
fair enough.
I think the thing that's being misunderstood or taken for granted is like Eberflus to me is a better coach than anyone in the division except maybe the guy from Green Bay. Dan Campbell, he's a great rah-rah guy, but I don't think he can out-coach Flus. And as far as Green Bay goes, I don't know how they're going to respond to adversity without having the king of RELAX. Without him being there, I don't know how they're going to respond. And like Samo said, Minnesota, we don't know what they are. With them trying to do a fire sale, I don't exactly know what they're going to bring. So to say that it's impossible for us or we're not going to win the division, I can't say that. I really can't.
You know what? Like you said, as far as talent-wise, I think we've caught up, and we caught up in 2 seasons. We've caught up with the division talent-wise. We just went through that depth chart. Where do we see that we have a problem at? Every position, we're fine, except for one position we could talk about. We could sit here and cry about, and that's defensive end. That's the only position we're going to sit here and just talk about right now.
No. What about center? Center, what was your position with center?
The cream will rise to the top at center. That's my position. Okay. That's how I feel about center. There's competition at center. There's good competition. So the cream will rise to the top. That's what I'm expecting to happen at center. And as far as the offensive line as a whole, everyone else around that center is going to be good. The 2 guards to the left of him and to the right of him are going to be good guards. So I think we'll be fine at center. As long as it's not Lucas Patrick. But the other thing that we don't talk about that we just, take for granted is the fact that there were 7 one-score games last year. We were a terrible team last year. 7 one-score games, and in at least 4 of those games, there were mental mistakes that lost us the opportunity to try to win those games. Players dropping passes, players getting the guy from the Vikings, the ex-Vikings player, got the ball punched out when he should have just ran out of bounds anyway. You know,
Smith Marset or whatever.
Smith Marset, 2 muff punts by Valus Jones. You know, all mental mistakes that are going to be corrected this year. I think some of those other teams have a little bit more continuity, but let's not underestimate the continuity that we'll have this year as well. This is our second year in this system. Yep. Yes, we have a few rookies. We don't even have a lot of rookies that have to start for us this year. You know, we got a lot of guys that can come in from last year that can start on the defensive line. You know, those rookies are coming in the rotation. You know, it is defensive line. We have a very simple game plan when it comes to defensive line in this defense. So I expect us to compete this year. I think we have the opportunity to win the North. I'm not afraid of fucking Green Bay. Fuck them. I'm not afraid of who is it? The Vikings? Fuck them. We don't even know what they are. And Detroit's gonna fucking Detroit. You know, Detroit will fucking Detroit. This guy's in Detroit. We're gonna lay his ass out too. I love you, Monty, but you gonna get hit. You getting hit when we come through that hole. All right. This is our division. This is our year, guys. I think we have the opportunity to do something big. Like PJ said, we have the best coaching and the better coaching of all the coaches. And I just think that, you know, we have an opportunity to win this division right now.
Before you go, Nick, I know you're ready. I think the overall what Samo just said, and I agree with this overall. When I get done studying the roster and breaking it down, studying every guy on there, I think we're more at a surplus than we're more at a surplus than we are at need, and we haven't been there in quite a while, man. We got multiple guys. You know what I mean? We do have a spot at defensive end that needs to be addressed, and I'm going to get to your question, Bear Truth 9, about who you think we ought to go after. But, you know, go ahead, Nick. You know what? Let me just save that right now. Go ahead, Nick.
The North is extremely wide open. You guys all make valid points. I really can't think of anything much else to say, but and this isn't me doing it just to say it, but we might have to worry about Jordan Love. Okay. Now, going into 2020, that draft, I was looking into quarterbacks because we didn't have one at the time still. We still had Bum Mitch, and a friend of mine put me onto this kid from Utah, you know, and I started watching his videos. I seen he would throw a lot of interceptions, though, on, like, easy throws, 10-yard outs, would throw easy picks, like, come on, what are you doing? But at the same time, threw a beautiful deep ball, had some touch there, and so he was a guy that was a project quarterback. So I knew if there was any team that he was going to go to where he had any chance, it would be the Packers. Sure enough, he gets drafted to the fucking Packers. And watching him in preseason and in the times he's went in, sure, he may not look like Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, just look at how his footwork has changed from the first time he's played to the most recent time he's played. Night and day. He's looking more and more like Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not here saying he's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying that. But watch out. He might be good. Not great, but he might be good.
Hey, Nick, I told you, Nick, the most
not Aaron Rodgers, though.
He's the most practical.
Bro,
I
saw a clip of him, bro, throwing a little throw to the left in like a red zone play, looked just like number 12. From the footwork to the throw, it scared the shit out of me.
Was there any pressure up the middle, Nick? Was there any pressure coming from
rolling out? He was rolling out.
Right. Yeah,
I ain't mad at Nick.
It scared me.
I know you're ready. I
have anxiety, bro, so I worry about these things.
He has some tape. He has some tape out there that is progressive as compared to how he started off.
You see
you
the
can see the progression, man.
It's scary.
Well, I guess the only question I have regarding Jordan Love is how does he handle adversity? I mean, the talent might be there, but see, that's why I'm saying with that lack of experience, and if we punch him in the mouth in that first game, I don't see him having that that resolve like Aaron
You know,
Rodgers does.
Yeah,
to
does
sit
he
up
have
there
that
and
moxie?
go,
We don't know.
Right.
Good ass point, PJ.
That's a great point.
That's a
Yeah,
good
we'll
ass point.
see.
We haven't seen that yet, man. So
Oh, and
And
point
I-
of clarification, real quick, before we transition. I ain't scared, and I don't want this team to be scared of none of these motherfucking teams.
hell no.
You know, we gonna hit these motherfuckers in the mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, team wise, I just think they're, go ahead.
You just got two. You got a yin and a yang, man. You got a yin and a yang, and you scared of one side or the
the
other.
other side, like he was like, hold on though. He just used to, the past. The past is the past, fellas.
Yeah, man.
And that's where we're gonna leave that shit. We're
I
gonna
keep
leave that
trying
shit
to
in
tell
the past.
people, man, whatever happened in the past don't have shit to do with today.
Mhm.
You guys sounding like Lion King and whatnot.
They have to, based on what I have seen, they have wiped all that clean, man. They're gonna exercise those demons this year, and I'm telling you that surplus they have on offense and defense right now, with the weaponry on offense and the surplus they have on defense, man, it's gonna come a point when they 2-3-0, when everybody gonna come back to this conversation like, man, you know what? I underestimated these guys. Remember what they just did to teams and competed with teams with garbage.
Exactly.
Just remember that, and how Eberflus had these guys ready to compete with garbage,
Every game.
not garbage, garbage.
Every game.
And we
And
gonna
so
make
just know that. And so just know that while you're judging and you're trying to, reel in your takes, and you're trying to be conservative about how you think the team will do, man, don't be a chump. Step on out there in faith and believe in your fucking team like I do.
yes, sir.
Step in front of that train.
Step in front of it. Step in front of it.
I believe in them like I believe in Jesus, man, because I see what they doing, man.
I do. Until Jordan Love showed me that he can play quarterback, I don't know what he is. That's how I feel about it. He gonna have to play quarterback. We're gonna shut the run down, and Jordan Love gonna have to beat us, because you know what? We're gonna play with a lead. We're gonna kick it off. We're gonna play with a lead. We're gonna start off hot. Second half, I expect us to be up 10 points.
Well, we have to.
That'd be nice.
If
We
we're
were
up
a team.
10, then he has to play quarterback. Do you believe in Justin or Jordan Love enough for him to come back in the
The
game
adversity portion.
with pressure up the middle?
Sam, I got a question for everybody, and I mean everybody. I mean every person on the show and every person in the chat. Do you believe we have the kind of weaponry where we can put up 21 points in a half?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell
basically,
yeah.
Not.
Well, we went through a period last year where we led the league in scoring, and that was with that team. So
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We got JF1. Why the heck not?
so base all your judgment on what we can do. Base it on that he's got the weaponry to put up 21 points in a half and be able to play defense on top of that.
I think
so-
there was a stretch where our second half adjustments was just great.
Great.
I mean, man, great.
Mhm.
We came out that second half and we shut teams down. They was getting only like field goals in the second half. So yeah, our second half adjustments was great.
Huge difference than from that Nagy era, man.
Absolutely.
When we
Absolutely.
were
Yeah,
just
man.
coming out of halftime and just getting pounded on
Ball
every
and
time.
flat.
Pounced on. It was just terrible.
I couldn't
Halftime
stand-
adjustments. What the
I
fuck are
couldn't
those?
stand that shit.
Exactly. No, the other thing that we do have working for us is Luke Getsy worked with Jordan Love, so he knows exactly what Jordan Love is.
True.
And you know,
True.
he's gonna talk to the defense and tell us exactly what Jordan Love struggles with. Maybe he's gotten better at those things in the last 2 years. Maybe he
Right.
hasn't. You know,
Right.
you know.
But that was
so
our
we'll
strength
see.
anyway. Was our defensive backs. I mean, I thought they played pretty solid all year.
Mm-hmm. So man, we have a chance. We have a chance, man. Don't count us out.
Agreed.
Believe. We have it.
I believe they can attack teams, put up 21 on the average,
Mhm.
and really play some defense. Maybe add a couple touchdowns, a touchdown here, touchdown there, a few field goals. And I think they have the weaponry to do that, and the balance and the attack that they can provide against a team with those weapons they have. I mean, we don't realize now the kind of dynamics that they can come up with in a coaches meeting with the kind of combos or receiver combos that they can put out there between Valus, DJ Moore, Mooney, Claypool. You know the kind of combinations they can put out there and the mismatches they can create on those combinations, man. I mean, it's the groupings that you can put out there to really cause a problem and just to turn around and hand it the fuck off to one of those running back to rip somebody. You establish yourself down the field and just to open up the middle of the field and run it. And so we didn't have that last year. So consider that in your ratio about how you think the Bears will do. And you will do better at evaluating what you will see because we're going to be much better on both sides of the ball. Just know that ahead of time.
Our receivers are fast. I think the slowest one is what, a 4.45 or something like that. I mean, all our guys running in the 4.4s are better. And then not only that, I really believe that our offense, to your point, Nomad, is we're going to be putting up. I say by the end of the season, we should be averaging mid 20s in scores and points.
Oh yeah,
easily.
As it gets colder, it's going to be harder to put up those points because you know how it is in the weather. But early in the season, man, we're gonna rack motherfuckers up.
But with that speed, though, man, I mean, with all that speed we got from all the positions. I mean, jets, sweeps, wide receivers, and then we still got Cole Kmet. I mean, that big boy over the middle. So I mean,
young and athletic.
Yeah. So I think I really expect us to really be putting up good points even by the end of the season.
I agree. Even if we don't use that speed, teams have to respect that speed. You know,
absolutely,
because you know Justin's going to chuck it up. If he sees a guy get past you, he's going to chuck it up, and it's going to be accurate. It's going to be a touchdown. Yeah. Last year we struggled with that. You know, Justin wants to take the top off.
I'm gonna let you continue, but Triple R, stop eating. We're finna go right to you. We about to highlight you, but soon as Sam get done talking, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, we need to see this. That's all I wanted to say was, you know, we have the speed, so teams can respect the speed, and that speed is also going to help the running game immensely, guys. Like teams have to back up. You can't bring that extra safety. You bring that extra safety down. We got two guys on the outside. That's just going to work. You can't. One safety in the middle can't cover two guys with speed. Okay, so teams are in trouble when it's slow coming across the middle. Exactly. So,
right. And I just want to introduce you guys. Let's put Triple R on the screen, full screen.
We need to see it. I want to see it chopped up.
Hold on, I got to get on the plate first.
All right.
Go ahead, plate that demo.
But just a little reference before we get into it. This is our new segment called "A Motherfucker in the Kitchen."
Put me in the kitchen. In the kitchen.
we gonna let him get his thing on, man. I love it, man. The fact that he's brave enough to put what he just created on camera, love it. And you gonna make me want some damn pizza. Stop eating, man. We try to set it up so you can get the first bite off.
We want to see the cheese stretch.
That's okay. There you go, Nick. There you go, Nick. That's a wall banner right there. A motherfucker in the kitchen. I can't wait to see.
Okay, see, here's the thing. Not every time when you go to create a home creation does it turn out the way the picture is on the internet.
Dang.
But that don't mean that it don't taste the way the picture on the internet is supposed to taste.
Preach.
So I don't have the cheese poured right because I don't think I cooked the crust long enough. I don't let it cook.
Put the camera down while you're talking so we can see your food.
Oh yeah, there it is. So I don't. Oh shit! Hold on. So I don't think I let it cook the crust long enough, but the actual flavor and the taste is delicious.
Ingredients.
What does that look like? I'm not seeing what that look like.
That damn thing look like a Thanksgiving dinner.
He stuffed that joint with all the different ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
I
thought that was some damn stuffed dressing and
like some dressing with
that's like a potluck put together.
Because what a deep dish is it's not your flat pizza, it's a casserole basically. And getting out of the skillet is a motherfucker. And so I got it off the skillet, but it's delicious. And yeah, I'm looking forward to
That motherfucker that made a potluck and shit.
Hey, show your plate again, Trip. That look like you already ate it, dog.
You say it tastes good, don't fuck yeah.
What the hell is that?
Pizza potluck.
Bear Truth said it's a huge pot pie.
That's one of the Swanson joints.
Man, that shit look like Thanksgiving in a blender or something. He poured on the plate.
He say that shit
Cranberry
good, though.
sauce in that motherfucker.
Last time I made it, it came out more formed because it had crust, so it looked more like pizza. But this taste is like, yeah, this is that same shit when you go to Giordano's or Manati's or Pizzeria Due or Uno. Yeah, this is that. A few ingredients, put in the skillet. It ain't pretty, but guess what? Y'all got some children by some babies' mamas that ain't the most beautiful dog to see. So you know how that goes.
You ain't shit.
Man.
So, but it tastes good as the soy sauce. So yeah, it's all good. Google deep dish pizza skillet. Make that shit at the crib, son.
That shit look like a damn disaster.
Oh.
He say
But
that
it
shit
tastes like
good.
pizza. I mean, it has all the same flavor and the texture, and as pizza is just piled up.
Damn,
Man.
that's potluck, man. You just got everything from out of goddamn what's that Golden Corral line? Just mix it up.
Well, I was 200 pounds by the time I graduated from 8th grade, so I've done that.
Damn.
Hey, all bullshit aside, I bet you it tastes good, man.
I know it tastes good. I believe
know
it
it
tastes good.
I'm bullshitting with him, but I know it tastes good because I heard how he put it
All
together.
them ingredients in that shit.
Me
It
and
gotta
Chris,
taste
He got all the members of the 4 food groups up on that mug.
right.
He got
I ain't gonna call it pizza though. I ain't gonna call it pizza because I don't see that cheese.
He
I
might
can
got
tell you, the
he might got a
difference
piece
is because it's in a skillet and I'm not using a typical pizza pan, it's thicker. So the ability for it to form more in the center and that crust to stay around it with all the various juices and all is harder. So it's gonna be a mess. It ain't gonna be pretty, but the flavor, it's all there.
Them various juices to do that.
They not. PJ, watch yourself.
Hey, they got this thing downstairs in my freezer called a home run in. And as soon as I get off this motherfucker,
You pop
That's
it right
what I
in.
mean.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's not always pretty, but it's effective. This is enough food for a few days. I ain't got to order nothing or DoorDash nothing or freeze nothing. I made it myself, so it's healthier. It's less expensive and tastes fucking good, baby.
you know how they got those. You know how they got those Jimmy Dean's breakfast bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They got Triple R's fucking dinner bowls right there.
Yes, sir.
That's what you put in a bowl. You just mix that shit up, throw it in the microwave, heat it up.
You go to work.
Triple R look like a chef.
Hey, that was fun, man. And I wish I could have got to more of you guys' questions, man. Whatever we didn't get to on the show, I would love for you guys to bring that in the comment section after the show. But it is time to wrap this motherfucker. Why? Not because I don't love you, not because we don't love you, but it's just time. We can't carry on all night. We love you, but we got to go home, man. So I enjoyed the show, man. I enjoyed you guys, man. And thank you guys for being a part of the first ever Nomad live episode. Mark this motherfucker on your calendar. It's the first day, first time ever. Thank you to all the people that joined the show. Thank you to our special guest PJ from Bears Country Park Productions.
Pete
Thank you to
Chisholm.
Nick, member of the Nomad Live Network. Thank you to Sam for being a member of the Nomad Live Network. And you too, Triple R. You special, brother. I want one of them dinner bowls, man. You have to send that shit to me, man. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I need to see that, man. Just put that UPS, do something, man.
The flavor on my mouth is, it's like there's a party in my mouth and everybody's invited.
Oh.
Pause.
Whoa.
Time out.
Man.
And a very special thanks to my man Chris Washington, man. I'm gonna stop going on and on about him, but he's special to me right now. And I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for this show. And it wouldn't be here and you wouldn't see everything you're seeing without him. So just know that. Get that man a shout out in the comment section because he deserves more credit than he's receiving right now. So guys, please show that man some love. And thank all you guys one more time for showing up to the show. Keep the comments coming. And I'll see you guys next week. Don't know what day, but you see me on Twitter and I'll put it out there for you. So
like, subscribe, put those notifications on YouTube.
That's right.
I appreciate you guys. For those of you who want to tune in, I'll be there on Thursday nights. Bears Country Podcast. Thank you guys.
There you go. Get your shout out. My bad, PJ. Get your shout out on.
Yeah. For those of you, please join us on the Bears Country Podcast Thursdays at 8:00. Thank you guys for having me. I truly appreciate it. I miss you guys. Much love to you, man. You guys be good, okay?
Love you, man.
Sir,
I love you guys too, man.
Shout out to everyone in the chat tonight.
Peace out,
Salute.
PJ.
We'll see you guys later.